And welcome back to You Decide Southern California 2014, where we question the candidates about the issues that you care about. And on the hot seat right now is Elan Carr. He's taking on State Senator Ted Lieu this November, and they are competing for retirement Congressman Henry Waxman's 33rd District Congressional seat. Welcome to the show. I appreciate it. Also on the panel, we have Calle with the OC Register, and also joining me now is Rory Cohen, also with the OC Register. And Brian, kick it off.
Elan, let's get right to it. You are running in one of the most Democratic districts in Southern California, represented by an iconic Democrat. You're running as a Republican. How would you represent a district full of Democrats with some different ideas?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not sure the ideas are so different. I'm so impressed by the degree to which voters throughout the district are passionate about the future of our country and worried about the direction of the country. That's not just Republicans, it's independents, it's Democrats, and I see this everywhere on the campaign trail where our voters are looking to look past party and past labels and looking toward a better future. And my campaign isn't about labels, and it's not about assessing blame for all the problems we face. It's about taking care of people, and it's about working on solutions that all of us are desperately looking for.
But you still have the R in front of your name. Do you think voters just look past that?
Oh, there's no question. I think first of all, there's a history of crossover voting. Republicans vote for Democrats, Democrats vote for Republicans. But what I'm saying is, now in this climate, more so than ever before, voters are deeply frustrated by what they see as a Washington that's broken, that's just riven by conflict and hyper-partisanship, and they're sick and tired of it. And you know what? We ought to be sick and tired of it. We want leaders who are going to go to Washington and reach across the aisle and bring people together for the sake of a better future for all of us. That's what we need. That's what we crave.
Elan, can you tell us what 3 of your top primary goals would be? What are you looking to do?
Well, certainly. Look, I think the first job of any government is to take care of people and keep them safe. Now, I have a career of keeping Americans safe. I'm a criminal gang prosecutor, and I've been prosecuting some of the most dangerous gangs in Southern California. So I have a career of keeping people safe, and that's what I want to do as a national leader. However, when you talk about keeping families safe, it's not just about jail cells and handcuffs. It's about taking care of our kids and our communities. And we're not doing that. We have schools that are not working. We have communities that are broken. And I, as a gang prosecutor, live amidst the ruin that results from broken schools. And so for me, education isn't just a moral requirement that we owe to our next generation and to our kids. Education is a public safety issue. And we've got to start taking care of our kids, our schools, our communities. What if we had classrooms that were safe? And what if we had job training and after-school programs? Could you imagine how much healthier it would be? And so that's something we have to do. And then the economy. Another priority is you know, when kids graduate from these schools that should be working, they need jobs. And here, too, California is failing by sending our businesses out of town. We need to bring our businesses back here at home.
If you're sent to Congress, you'll also be dealing with, obviously, international issues. And we've seen tragedies week after week these days.
Oh, it's devastating.
With journalists in our field being killed. You know, what would you be advocating on the foreign policy front for terrorist groups like ISIS?
Well, I'll tell you, I know quite a bit about ISIS because I was in Iraq for a year. I led an anti-terrorism team in Iraq. And at the time, we were dealing with ISIS's precursor, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, which is the direct precursor of ISIS. We played this thing wrong. And I have to tell you, to allow Iraq to drift toward Iranian influence, to allow Iran to continue spinning centrifuges and approach nuclear breakout capability every week, they are closer to nuclear breakout capability. And then to allow the Sunnis to go to the extremists like ISIS, this is a disaster. Brian, you know, we, just a short time ago, were working with Sunni tribal chiefs who were partnering with the U.S. military against Sunni extremism. And, you know, we forget that, but it wasn't so long ago. And now we have so abandoned the Middle East, and our ally Israel is in deep danger, and the region is falling apart and falling victim to violence.
But specifically, Mr. Carr, what do we do about ISIS? Because you hear a lot of people saying that in many ways, ISIS makes Al-Qaeda look like schoolgirls.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are perceived to be probably the worst terrorist group and one of the biggest threats to national security. What do we do? Do we hit them in Syria?
So ISIS is definitely a threat to national security. This is not the only threat to national security. We have to remember, it's a big one. Hezbollah is another big one, which is supported by Iran. So we have to remember that there are very, very dangerous groups in the region.
But do we hit them in Syria, sir? Because that's where they operate.
What we need to do is first of all, never use military force in pinpoint strikes. We have to decide either we're going to absolutely hobble this organization, in which case we hit them in Syria and we hit them in Iraq, or we don't use military force at all. And you can't play it halfway. So you have to either go in strong or be restrained, because the danger of pinpoint strikes is not getting the job done and allowing them to then recruit because of what they see as our weakness. But what we really need to do is we need to go back to partnering with Sunni tribal chiefs. They were fighting Sunni terrorists just a few years ago, and we blew those relationships, and we have to get them back.
All right, Mr. Carr, you have 30 seconds now. You can say whatever you want to say about your candidacy, and you can cover any ground that you think we may not have covered in the Q&A. Make your pitch, sir.
Well, it's very simple. Look, America deserves better. We need better schools, safer streets, safer communities, and we need an economy that welcomes businesses and job creators into Southern California. That's not happening today. And I want to be the kind of leader who goes to Washington, reaches across the aisle, compromises, and moves the country forward. We don't have that today. We have dysfunction out of our nation's capital. We need to end it, and we need to focus on a better future. If we don't, we are imperiling the next generation, and I'm not willing to let that happen. That's why I'm running for Congress, to make that kind of change.
Mr. Carr, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us on the show. And when we come back, some final thoughts, including how you can get in touch and share your own comments.